I'm not a woman that's often stuck for words, but when I was coming in here today, I really didn't know where to start with this. It's a very, very sad situation. It's ongoing. It's a corridor, people coming constantly onto the island every day. There's a camp that holds 1,000, sometimes there's been up to 2,000, 2,500. And then where I worked with some other Irish people, four Irish people, I worked in a place called PICPA, which is it's for the most vulnerable, and it's an old mental hospital. And we got a lot of people in there from off the boats, and it's a shock at first, because you read about them and then they're standing in front of you. So you really, they're wet. You can see the children are crying, fathers are crying, pregnant women, people in wheelchairs, mentally ill people, everything. It's just everything. It's just in front of you, and you're standing facing them in the hall, and you've just got to move and do something, with limited resources, and you do. And it does work, and it's kind of a little respite for a few days on the island Leros, and then they're heading off on that terrible journey again,
What, going through Macedonia to trying to get going through Greece to get into Macedonia?
Yeah.
And onward?
Yeah, I mean, when they arrive first of all, they've had the terrible time in Turkey, because they can't do anything in Turkey, they can't work legally, they can't do anything. They're being ripped off the whole way through, so, I mean, it's awful.
Paying thousands even to get into the boat?
It's everything. They're paying anything from $750 up to $5,000, depending on it, to get into the boat. If the boat sinks, they don't get their money back. Like 11-metre long boats, inflatable, 71 people on one of the boats. There should have been 30. It sunk, didn't even get away from the rocks. Most of them got back in, some drowned. Then next boat, it cost them $750, and that's it. They've nothing. They come with nothing. They come with plastic bags. The children come with no underwear. They come with no shoes. They have nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean nothing. They don't have...
But why are they coming to Europe? Because, some of the perception is, they're economic refugees, that they're not fleeing from the conflict, which I think is nonsense. But, some of them are economic refugees. They're coming to Europe because they want to screw the system. They're coming to Europe because we better benefits. They're coming to Europe, and God, we can't deal with it because we have enough problems of our own. How do you answer all of that? That's the negative side. And I can see you're filling up even asking.
Yeah, because I think when you see it at first time, I mean, let's be realistic. There's nobody takes a 3,700 kilometre trip from Syria with... I'm going to give you an example, and then you tell me if you think that say for the example, this particular person came because they wanted a better life, or came because... And you tell me that this person didn't come because they had no choice. We had a situation in PICPA where I was walking down the corridor and I heard this noise, and I went into one of the rooms. There was some bunk beds, and it was a bit dark, so I found it hard to see. I couldn't find the light or anything. So this man is lying in the bed, and he's making noises, and next minute I could see, and he's eating from a tray with his hand, like from a tin foil, and all the food is all over the bed, and there's a terrible smell in the room, and the man has long hair, and I can only see the top of his head. And I came in further, and I said to him, are you okay? And I speak a bit of Turkish, and a lot of them had Turkish. Can I help you? And eventually he's shouting, really agitated, shouting, Allah, Allah, Assad, and next minute he looks up at me and his eyes are black and they're completely dead, and the man is obviously insane. I mean, completely and he's also completely, he can't walk or anything, he's twisted. So I went off running, looking for his family to come down and help. So I went around, running around the place looking for his family, because I thought, oh my God, how can they leave the poor man like this? You know, he's after coming in the boat, he's wet. And eventually, anyway, I found this young boy outside. He was 16 years of age. And I said to him, your father is sick? And he said, yes, my father's very ill. I said, your family? He said, they're in the room down. I said, no, they're not in the room. There's nobody in the room. Your father's by himself. You have to come and help me. We need to do something. This man is very ill. And he said, yes. And I said, your family? And he said to me, my family is in the room. A young boy of 16 had carried his father, who was physically unable to walk, with no money, who was mentally ill, with no medication because he had no money for it, through Turkey, onto the boat, and eventually arrived in this little haven in Leros for 2 days. And you tell me he's running from, he did this out of choice. In the name of God, like. And that was, and I can tell you 10 of those cases, Billy, one after the other. I mean, that boy was 16 years of age. And he had then to continue the journey in 2 days' time with no money, no medication unless we helped him. Father couldn't walk, he carried him on his back, and he's carrying him to the Macedonia border, and he's up there now.
And there's a fence up.
There's a fence up. There's 10,000 people trying to get through. There's no water, there's no toilets, there's no food, there's people in wheelchairs. That boy is up there at the moment with his father. He didn't get through because we tracked him. He didn't get through. He's up there. Now, we managed to get him a wheelchair, and we managed to... The father was double incontinent, and a 16-year-old boy is taking him up because he loves his father. He's running away from the war. He has no family in Germany. So that's one of the cases. So, you know, I mean, you can Syria, I've already said, Syria's being bombed by so many countries. They have to get out. They're desperate.
If anybody saw that drone coverage of what's been happening there, it was just absolutely desperate. I mean, it's like the bombing of Dresden. It's just...
you see, another man came in, 5 children, the youngest 2, the eldest 8, 5 children, again, no money, no shoes. The children had no shoes. The little girl spoke beautiful English, told me that her mother was following them with the baby. And the father told me that the mother was killed in a bomb, one of those barrel bombs that Assad happened to drop. And he couldn't tell the children. Another boy of 17 with a bullet in his back. A mother got on a boat, 4-month-old babies, 2 twins, one extremely ill, and she was travelling by herself. There's no way anyone would take on this mad, and they're terrified getting on the boats, and they're terrified when they arrive in Leros. You can see it, they're like, you know, those animals that get caught in the headlights, you know that look, they come in and they're just in bits, you know, and when they sit and stare for hours, you just don't know what's, you know, I mean...
Our response hasn't been great, has it?
Well, what I can say, all I can say is what's happening with me. With regard to, Billy, the last time I had that, I asked about a pop-up shop. Mm-hmm. I got a pop-up shop, and I got a great response. And I got great help. And people came into the shop and were very kind. They gave me some 20 euros, some 200 euros, some clothes, anything. And I went over there with the full intentions of setting up a soup kitchen to feed people. And with the help of another 3 Irish people, we worked our socks off for the month, and we went out to factories, and we got steel shelving made and everything, and we built a kitchen. So after the month, at least there's something done. There's a kitchen in Picpa now that's fit to we can make soup for maybe 800 or 900 of a day if we need to. So I just want to say that anyone that gave me money, the money went they're feeding people out there at the moment with that money. So I really do appreciate, and I want to thank everybody and everybody that helped me.
So you are responding at the coalface to the immediacy of the situation. Yet there are people, I would imagine, listening to us who are deeply suspicious of the whole thing and would say, no, we're not going to take in these refugees because some of them would blow us up, they're ISIS and all the rest of it. Again, how do you respond to that?
I suppose, I can't remember how many. I suppose there must be 4 million refugees coming across, 4 million displaced people coming across Europe over the last few years. And, you can't pretend that there isn't somebody among that wouldn't have good intentions. And, that's a fact. I'm sure that happens.
Yes, so many people in Britain thought just the same as of us Irish during the Troubles, because during the bombings and all the rest of it was going on.
Yeah, because, not every Irishman is, a terrorist.
Yeah, exactly,
not
but that's how we were
Syrian
perceived by some people in the UK at the time.
The politics of it is one thing, and then the humanitarian end of it is another thing. And basically, I went out to see what I could do for a pregnant mother who, had small children. Could you feed them? Could you get clothes for them? Could you help them in any way? We can all... I understand what people are saying about, terrorists coming in, but when you see them, when you see the children, when you see the pregnant women, when you see the fathers crying... When you see the fathers crying is probably the worst thing.
I was watching Channel 4 News last night, right? And, so there are some organised camps on the Macedonian border, but then you have those where they don't even have tents, and then they had one scene where where they had a father, I would say, early 40s with 2 young kids under the age of 12, no tent. And then you had footage of people sleeping on grass in this kind of weather. I mean, it's outrageous.
They're nearly all doing that up there.
Yeah.
They have literally nothing. They don't even have food. I mean, they actually don't even... They have nowhere to go to the toilet. They have no water. They have nothing. This is 2016. This is 2016. And we have every sort of technology. There's plenty of money. There's plenty of money at the end of the day. We have money to bomb them, because that's what one of the young men asked me. When I told him I could give him half a banana, and I couldn't give him the whole banana because I couldn't feed everybody, he said to me, I said, I'm sorry, we have no funding. My friend bought this box of bananas. This is all we have. We get nothing from anywhere for Pigpa. He said to me, but you have money to bomb us.
Says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah. And how can I answer that? Yes, the amount of money that's been spent to bomb Syria, the amount of countries that are bombing Syria, for what? For what? These people are, oh my God, they're desperate. I don't know, a man in a wheelchair with legs blown off him came in with his brother. The doctor saw him and he just said he has no chance, he won't get to Germany. And the brother was pushing him in that chair and going on that boat to Athens. And they're all running. They're all running to Germany. They're running.
Why Germany? Is it because of them?
They don't even, do you know something, Billy? They don't even know where they are. Right. You see, when you talk about, yes, there is young people, but a lot of the young people that are coming over are being sent over by their family. Their family are afraid of their lives, that they're going to be caught up in the war. So they send the younger boys, the young men, they send them over. They give them a phone and they give them whatever money they have. That phone is so important. That phone is their only lifeline. You should see their faces. They come off the boat, they stand. All they want is to talk to their mother. All they want is to communicate with their brother.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because people are saying, oh God, they can afford mobile phones.
I know.
Why should we be arsed?
I know, and I see that, and I hear people saying that. That phone is everything. They could have nothing else, not a penny in their pocket, but that phone is their lifeline. You see them on the harbour, and they're saying to you, where am I? And we're saying you're in Liros. And they're saying to their mother, Benim kalp bitte, right, which in Turkish is, my heart is broken, right? And the mother is saying back to them, Sevisi Fiorum, I love you. Mother is so happy to see the son has arrived safe. She will never see her son again in reality. Because some of these are from Philly. Some of these people are 70 years of age. Old people, husband and wife, black bags. That's what they come with, black bags. A black bag, nothing else.
Plastic bag.
A black...
That we throw rubbish into.
A black plastic bag. That's what they come with. They have nothing. They have no shoes. They have no underwear. They have nothing. And that's what they call. And they're serious terrorists, you know. So, you know, you see a mother it's never go. You hear a mother's voice and she's never going to see her son again. You hear a son that you know is never going. And you know something? The Syrian people they're beautiful people. They're funny. Even in the middle of it, they're funny. The children are beautiful. They're stunning looking. And a little one, not the size of not up to my knee, was saying to me the other day, I felt this pull on my leg, and this little one, she was saying, "Abla, abla," which is like big sister, I hungry. And I looked down, and this little mop of curly hair, and she not the size of a pin. And it was lovely, because with the help of the funding that I got, the money I got, I could bring her down into the kitchen. I could open the fridge. I could take out a big tub of yogurt and fresh honey that we bought, and I could make her a little honey and yogurt cup and make her smile. And that's what the donations did. And if we can only do that, because we can only do a little amount, but if everybody does a little amount, it'll be, you know, it'll become a big amount. It's like the stone in the water, you know.
And you're going back?
I am going back, yeah. I've got the bug, yeah. Yeah, I can't settle down to Coronation Street, Billy. I can't do it. I know I can't go down to Shaw's and buy another dress. I know I can buy maybe a box of bananas for that money. So I'm going back in 2 weeks. But I have no money. So I'm begging. And also, I'm asking for a few things. May I go ahead with this, okay? The things that are really important, right, and you can see it, as you said, you can see it there and then. Rucksacks are really, really important, because, you see, I saw an old man and woman again in their 70s, and all they had was an IKEA bag. And the old woman had the black plastic bag, and I was able to go and hand her a rucksack, and it made a huge difference to their trip. Old rucksacks would be really, really important for us. I'm getting together a container, and it's going to go out from Cork. And I need rucksacks, any rucksacks you can find. I need, God, I sound really needy here, but anyway, baby slings. Because you're pregnant women, their husbands are missing in Syria. You know, I mean, this is another thing. We had a little boy who was autistic, and his mother was very young, and the boy was about 8, and he was quite agitated because she hadn't medication for him. And her worry, she had no money, but her worry was when she got in the line in Macedonia, that they heard that children are being taken. And children are being taken, right? They're being taken from the parents, robbed. And her worry was, how would she...
They're being robbed and sold off?
Yes. And that was her big worry. Her big worry wasn't that she'd no food. Her big worry was how to keep the child with autism by herself. Her husband was missing in Syria. How would she keep that child in the line for 4 days, she thought. Now it's going to be maybe a month. When the child doesn't get food immediately, he doesn't understand, and he just screams and screams. And she said to me, how can I hold him? What can I do? How can I keep my child if they take him? Like. So, you know, Billy, this is all mad, right? You know, when you go to the harbour, when they're all going off on the boat, in the big boat, this breaks my heart. They're hungry, and they have X amount of money, and they're waiting 6 hours on the boat in the harbour, and it's freezing cold. And I went to the shop on the harbour, and I picked up some packets of biscuits. And they were $3.50 a packet, right? Those biscuits in the supermarket are $1.50. So they're being exploited everywhere. When they go on the big boat, as they call it, it's €39. It's the same for everybody. The same for you as you're a tourist. They're not allowed inside. They have to sit outside. They have to sit out in the element. They pay the same money as you pay. But the big ferry companies don't treat them like normal people. They treat them like dirt. So there's in the sun, they were sitting outside for 12 hours on that boat. They're being ripped off. This is a hotbed for people that want to make money. This is for smugglers. It's perfect. This is perfect. You want to rip off people. These people are so desperate. They're being ripped off everywhere. Remember I said about the life jackets. The €10 life jackets they're selling in, they're making them up without face cloths and anything in it. The children are drowned and they can't afford a €25 life jacket. They're buying the €10 ones. They're making fake life jackets in Turkey. They're being ripped off. The trip to Macedonia on the train, okay, has increased by 300%.
The cost?
Yes. Now they're getting to Macedonia and they're tear gassing the children. They're tear gassing them. What's wrong with us? It's 2016. We're tear gassing children running away from the war after being bombed with no homes. Is there something wrong? What's wrong?
Something majorly wrong. Now, when you say what you need, are you going to physically bring these items with you?
Yeah, I can't obviously. Ryanair or whatever won't let me. But
That's my point.
I begged them and they let me through and stuff. No, we're going to get a container, right. And we're going to fill the container. The things that are really needed are the backpacks, the baby slings, and shoes. Because really, and I don't mean high heels, I mean really, I mean, you know the shoes you wore to your husband wore to a wedding and never wear again. They're leather shoes and they can walk for miles in them, those type of things. So they're the three things that I'm looking for. The other thing is that I just want to say is that there's a lot of people came to me and said, I'd like to volunteer or I'd like to help or I'd like to do something. Not everybody can volunteer because not everybody has the time, right? But if you can't volunteer and you want to help, I'm really bad at fundraising. I'm really not any good at it. And I have to get back in 2 weeks' time. If you would be kind enough to get a few people together, do a coffee morning, do maybe a quiz night, any single thing that people could do to help me to raise some funds, because every single penny is going for food or for something that's badly needed. There's no middle anybody here. If I get €20 from you, I'm going down the road and buying €20 worth of bananas. I have to cut them in half, as I said to you. We can't get full bananas. But, you know, your €20 is you're getting the value.
Are you going to set up another pop-up shop, or what's the story there? You're not doing that again?
I don't know, Billy, because I've only 2 weeks, and I have to be honest with you, it's hard going, right? So if I could get some help, I know there's fabulous people out there, and I know there's some great women and some men out here that will really help me. And if some of them could just come together and say, look, we'll support you and we'll help you. We're seriously thinking of going up to the Macedonia border to see can we help there as well. So that's at the moment, as I said, there's 10,000 people there, and I think yesterday they gave out food for 3,000. What'll the rest do? You know, so there's children sitting hungry, cold. You know, we need to do something. We just need to get up and do something.
Some questions. This says from Martina. This is interesting coming from a lady. She says there are thousands and thousands of able-bodied refugees amongst them. She says, why don't they en masse stay in their countries and fight for their freedom?
Okay, we're just going to take this, right? Listen to me for a minute, right? Syria at the moment, fight this. Syria's been bombed by the Russians, by the Americans, by Turkey, by Saudi, by Canada, by Qatar, by Jordan, Bahrain, United Kingdom and France. Stand up and fight that.
Impossible. Okay. Just to let you know that this programme, just before Christmas, a man walked in off the street, a Waterford person, and he's given this programme a certain amount of money, okay, to give out at our discretion. And all I want to say to you is that just say to the man, well, thank you, okay, and we'll talk to you afterwards about distributing some of that money into your organisation. Okay?
I appreciate it, Billy, okay?
And you look after yourself.
I will.
Is that difficult in the circumstances? I mean, do you get sleep and food and...
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I can't explain it. My heart is broken watching them. It's just broken. I can't explain it. And I know people can help, and I know Waterford people will help. They're great people.
Anna Rourke, thank you.
Thank you very much, Billy.